Let's hope it's going to happen. Good. Ah, we're live. Excellent. So I went to get my cord to plug directly into the internet. There's something on my screen. Sorry about that. Here we go. There. Now we've got our extra backup for our connection because we're going to have an incredible experience today. So welcome everybody. I get myself set here. I want to show you. I need to move one way or the other. All right, so welcome everybody. I've got so much stuff on my table. There's always certain crystals and stones. Akasha here, welcome. That want to come and be under my computer. Right now I have a rose quartz heart, a big hunk of turquoise, a big hunk of raw, real citrine, clarity, and obsidian, of course, to protect and draw out all the negativity and anything blocking our clarity. And today, Mama Turtle wanted to come. Look at her two babies. I have twins. And Turtle is my spirit guide in Maya tradition. And I live on the beach. And I've had turtles born on my land. And the last month and a half, I go for about 2-hour walks at dawn. And I find all these fresh turtle tracks, mother tracks, and I find their nests. I take pictures and I pin and I send it to a special lady who then comes and tags it. So it's been kind of my life lately. And today I saw some really spectacular experiences with that. So I was not surprised, but she's kind of big. So I got to figure out where she's going to go. How about you go right here? Okay, Mama. Thank you. So it is a really beautiful day for that, for connecting with your spirit, connecting with your nahual or your essence or your spirit guides. These are energies that are here to help us, to walk with us in our lives, that come because of our, what we chose in our soul, and then our birthday date, then that brings in the energies that are exactly right to help us find who we are and why we're really here. So we're all waking up now to the fact that we are not what we were told, and we were, I want to say, there we go. I want you to see the candle more, so I'll move over here. And that we had to do all this worrying, and rushing and chasing and working hard and taking forever and not thinking you're good enough. So as all of that sheds and dies, hooray, hooray, keep doing your inner work. That's the difference. That's how fast it'll go. And that's the difference anyway in everything, right? Is your own interpersonal reality. And so today I want to really thank you, because coming today, being here now in general at this moment in time, means that you have big work, that you are a strong, a powerful soul. I'm sure there's a lot of people saying that right now. I just want to tell you, it's true. There's no way that anybody, even people who are doing things that look not good, not nice, cruel, even, we've seen a lot of that, unplug from judging, because when you judge, then you're projecting, then it's reflecting, you'll get more of that, and you don't want it, so you're never going to get out of what you don't want if you focus on what you don't want. Okay. It's going to be really important for what's happening right now. So what is the opportunity at this moment with the breakdown, with the metamorphosis, is that this will never happen again. Okay. So as hard or horrible as you might think something is, it's never going to happen again. What if you stopped and started to relate to the moment as if it was a rare opportunity for something? Okay. So let's say you're in a lot of pain. Okay. You've been in an accident, or you've just had surgery, or something's going on, and the physical pain is quite, present. There are many, many ways of managing your pain through energy medicine, through mystery school teachings, through understanding energy. That's what magic is. That's what we're teaching. That's what we're learning. That's what we're remembering. And in whatever way you now feel like you can understand certain energies, you can work with them, you can create with them. Maybe you're really good at thinking of something and then making it happen. That's a skill you can now shift into an energy that will start to work for you intuitively in a sacred feminine way instead of always being this physical. I was a big chase it, make it happen. I got to go for my 2.5 hour walk in the morning and climb 10 pyramids or whatever. And I love that. So I'm very appreciative that I can still do that. However, I'm talking about really the physical pushing of worrying, not feeling good enough, thinking it's going to take a long time, stressing yourself out, working too much, and so on. We don't have to do that anymore. Not because you're meant to be lazy and unproductive and not contribute. No, you actually have a soul promise. You have a reason you came. And let's just begin to imagine. I love that. So Eve is here, and I want to share with you that this has turned into something truly magical for me, to me, and hopefully to you. And thank you, Eritag. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Hi, Tiffany. Hi, Susan. Hi, Hina. You know, the thing is that we are talking a lot about waking up the sacred feminine and getting our voice back and reclaiming our power and, you know, whatever way that's coming into your life. Okay. Relationships, in your body, your health, your food, your money, your concept of, you know, your job, whatever, right? You get to infuse any of these with whatever it is. So the things, think about this, the things that are being called forward in us now is I want to be able to talk to my higher self. I want to have spiritual guidance all the time. I want to understand the difference between my fear, ego voice and true spiritual guidance. I want to understand what is the biggest block right now that is optimal for me to shed. Okay. That if there's anything, you know, that needs to happen, I give it permission, and I give it permission to release. And then I give it to the earth, which composts, right? So Ishal, Ishmukane, Gaia, you know, Pachamama, Nanlum, whatever cultural name you like for Mother Earth. The concept is that we're made from her, and she takes all of our shit and composts it. Woo, there's a fly in here. We brought some plants in, maybe you came in on the plant. So now you can think the same thing. Gaia wants your toxic thoughts. She wants your fears. She doesn't want you to carry them around anymore. She doesn't want a dark womb. She wants a womb that is like black velvet, that you go in to plant your seeds, to be nurtured, to lay in, to curl up in, to be held by the mother, to ponder and dream and be nourished and nurtured into your next creation. All right. So feminine medicine is not gynecology. It's not what I'm talking about. That is one thing. I'm talking about the spiritual medicine of accepting your intuitive powers and doing whatever is needed to make a priority out of your spirit. Because guess what? Your purpose is so big. Your purpose is so amazing. It is raining right now. It is pouring rain. I keep looking like it's pouring rain. And we have not had rain until yesterday for 4 months, maybe longer. Now they've had some an hour from here into the jungle near the city. But we literally had not had rain until yesterday. And it did exactly this. It just suddenly opened up and poured. So that's for us. So the skies have just opened up and they're pouring down abundance and they're shielding us. They're giving us protection so we can talk about what we really want to talk about right now. So what we really want to talk about is that our powers are coming back. It doesn't matter if you're a man or woman, just get over the gender thing, okay? Sacred feminine is a polarity. It is not a gender. The feminine and the masculine are, you know, just like positive and negative poles on a magnet. You can't have any form without them. You have to have that. So don't stop trying to get rid of polarity. Stop trying to blame everything for duality being bad, right? And get into being your own amplification, like receiver and speaker, you know. So let me just pop back here. I think we started a little bit too soon. Okay, let's look here. The next full moon is coming. It is on June I don't even see June on here. There it is, June 11th. And I will be doing a show with Maria. So Maria Wheatley. And it's going to be about the third day of our incredible Earth Energy Tour, finding the lost goddess temples where she has found either the long skulled people and their bones, and we bring their voice back and we reconnect to them. So this is very, very interesting, very visceral, because stones hold memory, bones and crystals hold memory. And when you go to these places, it's not just, oh, maybe I'll remember a past life. Stonehenge, pyramids here, a particular forest. There may be many places you go. You might just go to like London, and walk somewhere and suddenly start to download information, because all the stones have memory. All time exists right now. All versions of you are accessible to you. And so if you're decoding this library in stone, usually, but it's then embedded in the earth, which has its own energies. And then depending on what's happening in the cosmos, and then you might have music coming out of the stones. You might have color coming out of the stones. Everything's a frequency. And so you have sacred wisdom inside of you. You have ancient mysteries that you have learned. All of the women, interestingly, that jumped out, I did none of this by intentionally, I have to say. I just want to remind you to subscribe and to get on the list at nanakasha.com so we can tell you about all the goodies that we have going on. This is today's show, and we're going to get to this really, really soon because she's here. And this, yes, is Eve of the Bible. And believe me, based on what Mary Magdalene said the other day, there's 2 shows we already did, Guinevere and Mary Magdalene. So Guinevere kept coming to me. Last year, she talked to me a lot, but we didn't really do a lot with her when we were in Glastonbury. And then Mary Magdalene, we went to her chapel. We had some really beautiful things, actually. So them coming in, and then suddenly Eve popped up, and I'm like, what? So I'm really excited, because the concept here is I haven't pre-written any of this. I haven't pre-channeled any of this. I haven't made any of this up with my big old brain. I spend my focus aligning with flow of the infinite inside of my own highest good, inside of an infinite light chamber or a light temple with an activated light body that's in harmony, that knows exactly the way that I want things to be. Like, there's a lot going on under the scenes, so that when something like this says, this is what you're doing, all I know is I was going to Glastonbury, and then I planned the thing with Maria. And then it was like, okay, what's my thing? And they didn't want to tell me yet. And then boom, Guinevere starts talking. And I'm like, okay, yeah, because look, so just today, after months, I've got confirmation on everything. It's just bizarre. So thank you, Eve, because I think that's probably what's going on, is this re-empowerment. So I want you to think about this series. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the series in a minute, but where do you feel like you are powerless, or you were powerless and you can't kind of let go of it? You're kind of worried about it coming back, or you feel like maybe it's still in you enough that it's helping create your future and you don't want it, because that's the way it works. It's just a percentage thing. It's just math. How much of the time are you in fear, thinking about your health problems? Then you're going to manifest a health problem. So, it just depends on everything, that all the different things going in. But we're talking about from shame to sovereignty. And that is literally on the scale of consciousness, going from the lowest possible frequency of barely dragging your butt around alive in a body to enlightened and beyond. Because when you're sovereign, you are not playing in the 3D, believing anything about the 3D. Because shame is the lowest state of consciousness. You can be alive in a body, but not really alive. So what happens when we've been filled with shame? And we were filled with shame either by this family, or we were filled with shame by other lives, by being someone like Eve, maybe a strong woman in a life, maybe a priestess, maybe a healer, maybe someone who's accused of a witch, and all the many, many things that were done to suppress, kill, control, erase, gag, women in general. It was just really about the sacred feminine energy. The masculine could not do what the sacred feminine does. It cannot create life. So it wanted to own, it wanted to control, it wanted to manipulate, it wanted to possess. And that's the world that we've grown up in. And that's the history we were fed, was, memorize stuff about, bad men on horses who killed each other and all the dates. I hated all that. I was like, I'm not memorizing those dates. Why do I give a shit what this guy did? And I'm surprised I didn't say that out loud, because I was very, very quiet. So what this has turned into is that these are all four of these women. And then next week, we're going to talk to Morgana Le Fay, who you may know from the Mists of Avalon. You may know from going to Glastonbury. You may know from last year when she came and spoke with us. And she is King Arthur's sister. She was trained from very young and became the High Priestess of Avalon. And she has a big history too, because she's the inspiration. She's the fairy queen. She's beautiful things. And there's aspects where she's the support. And then there's all these stories that were accused her of being evil, being a sorceress, being Arthur's downfall. And that's what we are decoding right now. I want you to stay aware. I want you to put some lenses on. And this is not to hate anybody. And this is not to blame anybody. Especially do not turn this on men. Do not say it's about you and you and you and you and you, an asshole over there. It isn't. Think about them trying to fit into who they were taught to be, but not feel it was okay, and blah, 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 blah. Everybody is going through a shedding, an uncertainty, and we are meant to shed our identity right now. This is not an option. We're meant to shed our identity. That means, are you going to keep believing I'm not good enough because my parents told me I was good and I'm not good enough? Everybody was mean to me. I was abused. I was bullied. I failed. I lost money. I can't trust myself. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. All of it's real. I have had just so many of these wonderful experiences in my life. Believe me, I'm not preaching to anyone about the level of pain you're experiencing. What I am doing is offering you a door that you can exit that pain right now in some way that is going to go to the cause and the core, and you're going to find your soul purpose. So what I feel now coming through from our beloved Eve here is your soul purpose, your promise. And did it get derailed? I'm just writing this down because she's kind of tapping me here. Did it get derailed, or was all that for a reason? So she's showing me that women, like ancient indigenous cultures that were conquered, Native Americans, Mayan, and so on, right? They had to go underground. That energy had to retreat. Maria told me recently that the water in the earth is getting deeper, like it is retreating into Gaia, into her heart, the way that you would if you were going to, your body was in survival, it would draw the blood to the heart, to the organs. That's very significant. You have to think about how abusive our reality is right now, how much blame and shame we impose on ourselves and others, or we were taught to impose, because over time we were given glasses to wear. Don't like those people, hate that person, this person betrayed me, never like those people, don't marry one of those people, you're not good enough, you're too fat, you're too smart, you're too rich, you're too poor, you're too blah, 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 blah. Now, I really do want to make fun of it, because I'm not making fun of you. I'm making fun of the fact that what the hell are we doing playing this game? We don't need to be playing this game anymore. It's absolutely stupid to be playing this game. We don't have to believe any of the shit they taught us, because all the history books are bullshit. All the physics books are bullshit. They're teaching old, stupid shit that isn't real. God knows what they're teaching in math. I don't know. So Get over what you did, what you didn't do. Get over what you have or what you don't have, because it doesn't matter. You're infinite. But the bigger picture is you're here in a body, and that is a coveted position. It is an honor to be in a body. And when we can have guidance from somebody like Mary Magdalene or Guinevere, whoops, or Eve or Kukulkan, I'm going to have to put you down, Pumpkin. So because Eve is related to the serpent, my beautiful Kukulkan wanted to come. I don't know if you can see. This is a, stop sharing. There we go. This is a walking stick, one of my 2 walking sticks, beautiful carved walking stick, made by a gorgeous man from the Chichen Itza Pueblo, Maya. And this is Kukulkan. So Kukulkan's a feathered serpent who, for the Maya, represented unconditional love and sacred knowledge. There was no devil, there was no evil. That's totally Christianity. That is not a part of this or almost any other culture. So why feathered? Because your spirit and your body, so the bird and the snake, earth and sky, masculine and feminine, crown, right? And root sacral. These together is you remembering who you are and realizing you have skills to go into other lives, to remember who you are, what you are here for, accept the guidance, start to live your life as an adventure. Do not waste another moment not understanding your sacred purpose, because when you do, nothing gets in your way. You work through your problems, you wait when things are not going fast, and you do everything. Yes, but you're not doing it from when will I ever have, I can't have, powerlessness or victimlessness. So this year of the snake is to shed our identities as women, as men, as mothers, as daughters, as bosses, as employees, as slaves, as servants, as everything you can think of. Shed that identity so that you can. So when the rattlesnake sheds its skin, it has grown a new rattle, and the rattle is equivalent to your crown chakra. So it's like every time you shed your identity, you let go of who you were, maybe what you do, maybe all your stuff. I don't know. Don't worry about it. Spirit is driving. Spirit is guiding. Spirit is calling. Okay. And so let's say that these women who've come to speak to us about this and who want to be our primary guides on this retreat is the first part with me, the queens. This isn't working out, dude. Is that we have this opportunity with the full moon and the eclipse and the high moon and with all the other magic we're doing and being in Glastonbury, all the energies coming together. The work we're going to do with Maria at Stonehenge, at Woodhenge, at Stanton Drew, at Stony Littleton, at the Uffington Horse, with the Epona, the ancient horse goddess, with these long-skulled queens, then just reverberated back and drew these other sacred feminine essences, consciousness, archetypes, guides, whatever you want to call them. You might remember lives there when you come or together. You might remember them now and you don't, and maybe you don't. It doesn't matter, okay? Don't should yourself, because you are now entering an opportunity to reconnect with a part of your purpose at such a deep level that there isn't a way for you to become, to not become. It's an inevitable destiny, and we're letting go of fate. So let me share a little bit more. This is the, I want to share a little bit more about the series, because this is turned into a series. So we have one more coming, the one we're doing right now. So 2 more, and we have 2 in the past. Okay. So I'm going to just, this is going to lead us into her guidance right now. Okay. Thank you. All righty, here we go. So we are over half full, and Maria hasn't even put this into her website yet. So if you're interested in this, please come sign up or contact me if you have some questions. We have a kind of a private meeting this afternoon. If you are a client of mine and you want to come to it, contact us about manifesting this retreat. Certain people in my classes, we're going to get together and help them decide or help them see what's blocking them or if it is optimal and so on. And then on Sunday, I do have a call for you. This is mine. This is where Mary Magdalene and Guinevere, we're going to go to where she's buried, which is the heart chakra of the heart chakra. We're going to be in these beautiful places, water healing. We've just got our private access to this place, the Chalice Well, and to the White Springs. I'm so excited. Everything lined up today. It's just so beautiful. So this is on Sunday. Okay. If you want to come on Sunday, June 8th, go to that retreat link that's on the screen and should be below as well, and will be in the email. Right at the bottom of the top graphic, you're going to see a little place to put your email, and we will send you the information for the Sunday call. There's no cost to it, okay? And you'll probably also get the fear cleanse that we did last time when we did a similar call called How to Manifest a Retreat or something. I think we included those in there, so you'll get those right away. That's this coming Sunday, okay? And now we have the Oracle of the Week with the Prosperity Magic deck every Friday. So I have to tell you a sneak peek. I usually show up and then they talk. Well, guess what? This week we're talking to Eve, and she came walking in the door on Monday and went, by the way, I am also the Oracle of the Week. So we already know who the Oracle of the Week is. And please join our Oracle Magic class where you're going to get the deck. We're going to be starting that in a few weeks, and it is going to be epic. This is an intuitive activation for your skills. Okay, so now here we go. So this is the Ancient Queens Empowerment Series. I didn't know that when we started. Guinevere wanted to talk, then Mary wanted to talk, and suddenly we had these 4 beautiful embodiments. So let's go back and focus on the idea of you reclaiming your power, your voice, your worthiness, something that is a common ailment, I guess to say, for women or people who are looking to embody the intuitive arts, the mystic arts, healing, mediumship, channeling, energy work, herbalism. I mean, some of it's just basic. Most of it is pretty basic because magic is natural, right? It's natural. It's not a manifestation of evil. Okay. It's a natural co-creation with elements, with all different aspects, with realms. And as you go through mystery schools, as you tap into the indigenous wisdom, the ancient wisdom, which is what I bring to you here, you start to realize that you have so much time is at your fingertips. Okay. These kinds of beings who have lived these archetypical lives are a true essence of the divine. And like the crystals from Atlantis and Lemuria, who were put to sleep like a little timer to say, okay, this is not a good time for your wisdom to be. Let's sync you. Let's turn you off. Put the timer on. When it goes off, you'll be ready to wake up. That started happening a little while ago when I was in Arkansas for a retreat. I don't know, that was 6 years ago, 7 years ago. The crystals kept showing me that we were completely connected to Atlantis, and the giant crystals that were beings that were worked with on a lot of different levels throughout Atlantis for a lot of different things were coming and speaking and showing me that it's time for them to wake up right now. And that as they wake up now, their knowledge, their wisdom, which would be the wisdom of Atlantis or Lemuria, which are, or Mu, or, who knows what they're really called. But those are the sacred masculine, sacred feminine of are reseeding, because humans are muy ancient. Okay, the Maya know that they go back 50,000 years. The Aborigines in Australia know that as well. There's a lot of cultures, they have to be pretty pure and preserved, but they have conscious memories of their ancientness, and they communicated with the stars. They watched the star beings come, the gods, whatever you want to call them. We're the ones that put the word God on it. They don't think it's gods. They think it's aspects of the divine, just like we are. So what I want to do is to tune us in today. And if you've seen Guinevere and Mary, great. If not, please go visit them or revisit them, because I don't know what they're going to talk about other than they want to talk. Then they gave me a title, and now here we are. So this came through, and they said across time, myth, and memory, the sacred voices of the divine feminine have been silenced, distorted, and forgotten. Now the ancient queens are rising again. The power of the sacred feminine voice is calling us home to our truth, power, and sacred purpose. Enjoy this mystical 4-part series, The Ancient Queen's Empowerment. It's a transition from the soul of Avalon and beyond, awakening the lost lineages and divine archetypes within you. So today we have Eve. Then we've already had Guinevere, power of the forgotten queens and lost lineages of sacred feminine wisdom. And we had Mary Magdalene, who spoke about reclaiming the sacred feminine voice of love, devotion, and divine power, and how she is completely different. And so far, what we've discovered is that they were both trained as priestesses of Isis. Priestesses of Isis is, yes, a temple from Egypt. It's an Egyptian name for a goddess that runs through all cultures. And yet that mystery school is the divine feminine mystery school. So where I live, we have Uxmal, which is the divine sacred feminine university, where all priestesses, all women of all kinds were trained and deeply revered, like the oracles of Delphi at the time that they were revered. So what do we have is that we're getting different pieces of the puzzle of how, if you let these people not be above you, or maybe they're not real, if you let them just be your friend and sit down next to you, and you start to understand the pain they've gone through of being accused or having their reputation ruined, or being imprisoned, or being chased, or being accused, or being constantly talked about in some negative way. I mean, Guinevere was accused in our current story of being an adulteress and a betrayer, and she never was. She embodied the divine feminine in perfect balance and love. Mary Magdalene, of course, ran from the situation, but nothing that happened was real. It all happened so they could practice coming to a body, remembering their divinity, understanding the laws of nature or magic, so that you can let's try being resurrected in the exact body, because this is what the ancients did. It's what the wise ones do all the time. You can keep your body, you can rejuvenate your body, you can resurrect your body. It's really not that big of a deal. And so there isn't this big murder that happened. It was divine feminine, but she said she wanted to come back and speak to us as the priestess. And they are both calling that forward. So the priestess word, I've been trained as a priestess for many, many, many decades. However, I've never used the word a lot because people really reacted negatively. I was in the goddess world and the Wiccan world for 16 years. Most beautiful thing ever. It's just like the Native American world. It's all nature-based, beauty, love, deeper love than I've found in almost any culture except the Maya, the ancient Maya. And now that inner desire for the truth of what these women really stand for, of what they've been through and what they've been able to survive, but not survive, because survival is kind of like poor me. Thriving is, guess what? There was a reason for this. I came to try this experience. So did you. Accept your path, accept your story. Now you're going to reconnect to your sacred purpose. Now this is Eve is starting to come in, okay? Eve went from outcast to the oracle that she's becoming now. And one thing that's interesting is, as we became aware that there was another wife, a first woman that was created, Lilith, who said, no, I don't want to be someone's wife. I don't want to be owned, and went on her way. She's become very respected, very revered, because she's a strong woman, but she was also cast as dark, evil, snake, somehow the snake again came in, but the snake is Kundalini. It is life force. It is your life force. It is the divine feminine. It's the ability to shed the old, die, and be reborn. All of that exists within you, and controlling factors, religions, schools, families, cultures, whatever, they want you controlled. They want you maintained. Don't blame any person. Don't go there. It's not worth it. Who gives a shit? We're here now. We're aware of it. We're only pointing it out so we can be free of it. And we can free them of it so that their archetype, their light, their glow, their messages can be stronger. Their voice can come to all of us in a more powerful way. That's what we want, right? That's what we really, really want, is to be able to be guided by something within us that beats with the heart of who we truly are. And who we truly are is a balanced being, accepting the divine masculine and the divine feminine, and then we're the conduit, and we have to detox all the crap we've been taught. And who cares who taught it to us, okay? Get over it. You can carry your victimhood, you can get your label, you can take your drugs, you can do whatever it is, and you must be conscious and accept that you're making that choice. Don't blame the drugs or the lack of drugs. Don't blame the society, the culture, the family. Don't do it, because you're handed your power away. And none of these women ever did that. They were not willing to try to run and prove their innocence. They didn't want to convince everybody. If everybody turned on them, if everybody called them a prostitute, if everybody said, you're the cause of original sin, you're the cause of everything, every woman who was ever born is sinful just for being in a woman's body, and everything about a woman is horrible, and sin, which does not mean bad, but the sin that was infused for us, the idea that you're bad and everything you do is bad and you have to constantly be suffering and not be good enough, hoping for one day that maybe you'll be deemed worthy. Bullshit, 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 and more fucking bullshit. Okay. Sorry. Had to come out. So we have not done that. We've not said, oh, I'm just too timid to speak up to this man who keeps abusing my mother. Really? Hello? Then that gets duplicated with the government, and you just sit by while Stalin and Hitler go about ruining things. If you don't speak up in your own way, which is inside, what are you giving power to? What are you blaming? What are you putting your focus on? Are you focused on a new world? Are you birthing a new world? Are you staring at your wounds? Are you mad at that person? Are you watching the media and feeding and feeding and feeding it? It feeds off that darkness. But these women have been cast into the shadows. They've been burdened with labels of you're just a bad, right? And then never got the chance to speak. Right? And we have this thing in our society. I must be vindicated. People need to know my story. I have to defend myself, but I didn't get to defend myself. Well, why would you need to defend yourself? That's where they are. They are queens, not because they had money or power or influence or a castle. They are queens now because they've chosen to be sovereign, which means I am that I am. I am not what you want me to be. Maybe they merge. Maybe for a while we dance together, we work together, we're friends together, we co-create something together, we're married together. Maybe there's a while, but I am never there. We were never meant to be there for somebody else's story. We're meant to be there creating our own story, and they're coming into it. You. So, and then next week we're going to talk to Morgana. And she's misunderstood to majestic. I just thought that was brilliant when she gave me that one. Her healing transmission from the heart of Avalon. So this was the one we just did. And this is some more information about this. I'm going to put this in an email. Eva wants to talk. I want to get forward. So this is just to give you a little bit more, right? These are transmissions that form a living codex. What is a codex? A codex is a book of codes, a book of symbols, a book of messages that can be decoded if you are in the right state of consciousness, if you have the code. Well, the code could be in a great mystery novel, it could be, I found the code and now we can go find the clues and then we can decipher the clues and then we can find the treasure or something, right? We're talking about the same thing. We're talking about alchemy of your fears, of who you thought you were, of the limits you thought you had, because right now is the opportunity to take your voice back. I can tell you that the world is splitting this year, and that's part of the shedding. The new snake, the earth is slipping out, and the earth and the inner sacred kundalini of the earth is not going to hold back in this crap. But there's going to be a dimension of earth that stays here and keeps playing war games. I'm not going to be one of them. But there's no way to buy yourself on that. And there's no way to hope for it if you're full of fear. So if you felt unseen, unheard, unworthy, now's the time to use this window, to use the energies, to watch for the synchronicities, to increase it, to go to the oracle class, to come to the retreat, to do whatever it is that's been calling you to listen to your heart and get your own messages from within and change your own frequency from within, so everything around you reflects the life you want. Then you start creating the reality you want, and it's way more fun than living in somebody else's reality. It's so much fun. Okay, so that means you're the one who chooses. You step into the power of knowing you create your reality. You're fully supported to live your purpose, not some ego-driven bullshit. Nothing you have ever done or not done marks you as unworthy, and only you can change it. Okay, if your soul is stirred by these voices, walk with us in person through the mists of Avalon and the stones of the ancient temples. Your throne awaits. This is the beautiful message they gave me. And the ancient ones are calling, and they want you overall, whether you're coming with me or not, to listen to your heart. Listen with your heart. Thank you. I was going to say, no, that was different. Yeah, and I opened my, listen with your heart is different than listening to your heart. If you're listening to your heart, you're going, what is my heart saying? If you're listening with your heart, you're letting everything around you that is here to guide you, including from within, your purpose, your chakras, your glands, your past lives, your higher self, the flowers over there, everything that is here to be a part of the medicine that's perfect and optimal for your highest good right now is all around you in every single moment. So we go together to these places, and this is what we do. I do sound healings, and we call in nature spirits, and we channel all these things, and we do water magic, and we reactivate this inner ability to say, I see myself, I hear myself, I am worthy, because I'm the only one who can do that, which would then be reflected outside. So becoming a queen or a priestess or a light bearer or a beautiful lovey-dovey person, whatever fluffy bear you want to be, a unicorn, I don't know. I don't care what it is. Embody something that is going to bring the energies that you wish into this. Guinevere, of course, was just our first one, and it was so beautiful. And so that's the tours, and I think that's it. And then we're going to do that next week. So let's go see this. So this is for tomorrow. I'm going to take her down now. This is from the Prosperity Magic Oracle deck. So I highly recommend, again, that you pop over, you join the class, you get the certification as well. And this is our number 25. Well, you can see this was inspired by Eve. We have our little baby snake and our golden apple and our beautiful fresh. But she came through and said, yes, I'm inspired by Eve, but I want to embody this rebirth aspect, okay? This aspect of being found again and accepting myself, shedding who I was accused of being, and how am I rebirthing now? So she's the golden goddess of freedom and fresh eternal optimism. Now, these cards are entire worlds that I show you how to enter, walk with, communicate with, and so on. So she represents all these different things. She's a specific aspect of this. This is a transformed energy, right? And now just maybe close your eyes for a second. I'm going to just pop back over to our lady here. I wonder if I could... I'm not sure. I was going to see if I had that image without the writing on it. But so now, what is the opportunity that you have to step into the voices and powers that we're talking about here? Okay. So I'm just scanning to see if I have this on my slides. Means drained. Okay, that's all right. Oh, all right. Okay, good. So instead of making you stare at me, I am going to put you Eve. All right, we'll see what happens there, maybe. I don't know. So, oh, I found it myself. Ooh, I'm so proud. Okay, good. Let's go ahead and do that. So, also, that's a very good point. Part of what this is to look at your own opinions, prejudices, ideas. So I was very, very anti-religion, and I didn't like anything that mentioned religion, God, Jesus, and this kind of stuff. I felt kind of pissed off about it. And so I never went around talking to Eve. That's the fun thing about being a channel. You go with what shows up, and then life leads you in beautiful places. So she came through last year when I was going to Avalon because it's the Isle of Apples. And many different forms of Eve came. We had lots of conversations like the one I just showed you, which is a completely different than this one, right? You can see the essence of this feminine power. This is not a young girl like that other one with that fresh optimism, that golden touch, that belief that everything is fine, that reclamation of her innocence. This is a wise woman. This is a woman who's standing tall, reclaiming herself because she is glowing. She can be seen. She is radiating light. And she's standing with the sacred tree, holding the golden apple. The Isle of Apples has a lot to do with Avalon, with the goddess, with the five-pointed star inside when you cut the apple the correct way, this way. And the snake, you can see, of course, we have here, but this is a part of her. Do you see this? Where's it coming from? Her kundalini, her womb. And it's gold. And what is alchemy? It's turning everything into gold, not physical gold. The ancients didn't care about gold. The only people who cared about it was mostly the Europeans. You know, we got to go try to kill everybody and take their gold. The Maya really didn't understand that. They were like, you know, gold. Where's your gold? And they were like, oh, you want to give that to Kukulkan? Oh, go to Chichen Itza. Just go up the coast a ways. You'll find the big pyramid. That's the perfect place to make the offering. And of course, they went there thinking that there's gold there and they wanted to attack it. So we all have our perception. Gold is the gold ray. It is the infinite ray. It is the ray that holds every other way of creation. It is the sun. It is golden spiritual sunlight. And it goes on and on and on. So in the mystery schools, in energy medicine, you will discover the power of gold, calling it in, seeing it, maybe your inner solar plexus, your power, right? This is very much about that. But what I love about how she came through here is that she's not pushing energy out through her solar plexus. And we tend to do that. We're like, oh, I'm going to have my power. I'm going to draw the sun down. I'm going to concentrate it in here. Yes, that's good. But here's the thing. Your entire central channel is constantly vibrating with codes for you, with your soul lineages, with your powers, with your memory. And you get a halo, or you get this auric field when you get into the center of you and you stop trying to be everybody else and blame yourself and shame yourself. Okay. So many things are already coming through, I'm sure, to each of you. And so what we're going to do is look at and let her speak to us now and really go from this idea of shame to sovereignty and see what she wants to say. Also, she's inviting you to look at the snake, to think about your fear of snakes. Everybody has a fear of snakes at some level. Maybe you've gotten over it. Maybe you were lucky enough to not be infused with it, whether it's religious, whether you think it's a devil, or you're just afraid of poisonous snakes, which is very valid. We do not need to be afraid of them. In fact, if you get bitten by a snake or a bug that makes you very ill, It's an inoculation because it means that their medicine that they've just given you is a very high frequency and could open doors and windows for you at high levels. And yet you need to raise your frequency. That's why you get sick, die, or go to the hospital or whatever it is. Okay. So if you start thinking, talking to the essence of your Kundalini, are you afraid of it? Are you afraid of owning your power, shedding who you were? Because guess what this is? This is the tree of knowledge. And I don't know the Bible, but I'm pretty sure that the snake came down the tree of knowledge and off and said, eat the apple. And she said, cool. And then all this supposed shit happened, right? Oh, you're evil. We're going to kick you out now. How dare you eat the apple? You're not allowed to have knowledge. So, of course, that story was super exaggerated because, ooh, yay, let's blame the woman. Let's look at what that really means as we're dropping deeper into this. So if you feel drawn into the image, please go. If you feel her around you, if you're starting to feel your glow, perhaps the Isle of Avalon is calling you and surrounding you. There's apple orchards there that we will be in doing our magic. All right. We may make some sacred tools. We're going to be making earth mandalas. We're going to be working with all these beautiful energies in the springs and so on. This is the tree of knowledge. They were given supposedly in the story, which is an archetype. We were given the tree of life because you're standing here in a body and you were happy and you were enjoying the abundance all around you and just like, gosh, it's so beautiful here. Isn't this wonderful? I love myself. I love everything. And so the idea that there was no shame is quite correct. And this is what we are going back to. Not because we did something wrong or she did something wrong, but because the world changed at some point, because these stories were not the way that we were told. They were a completely different story in the past. They were twisted. From a certain point, which is what we call the patriarchal world view, and the warring and all of that kind of thing happened. And that was because of energies, okay? Energies in the cosmos and in the earth, everything shifted, and that's what we went through. There's no point in getting upset. Now we're coming out of it, and we failed to, in the recent years, we have not succeeded at fully embodying the sacred feminine and the water medicine. And now we're in the time of perfect balance, and we're trying to figure out how to access it. Okay. So we're doing a little bit of going back into the sacred feminine to finish that initiation, to reclaim those powers so that we can come together in this moment of unity and be in perfect balance within us. Support yourself. One of my clients said, wow, we did a soul lineage session. Those are on sale right now, by the way. We did a soul lineage session. I was like, whoa, blew me away. She listened to it like 5 times last night. I think she said, the idea that you have a purpose is so profound that if you keep going, oh, my life's, this, I'm looking at this part of my life, it's in my way, instead of picking your head up and saying, okay, who am I? What am I here to create? What bad stories have been told about me? Okay, let's just release those. How can I get back to my tree of knowledge? It is inside of you. If there's 2 trees, then that is the 2 meridians. That's the Ida and Pingala, and the tree of knowledge and the tree of life are meant to go together. But what happened? We got separated from sacred knowledge, which is why Cuckoo Khan, or any version of the serpent or snake, represents transformation, Kundalini, which is not just tantric sex. This is where your codes are. And when the masculine and feminine are balanced, they can move up like the caduceus through your chakras, feeding and nourishing each of your energy centers so you can finally bilocate and levitate and be telepathic and basic shit. Okay, this is basic stuff. We've got to remember this is already encoded inside of us. Okay, and allow each of these energy centers now to awaken the glands. We don't even know what they do. Okay. Studying with the Mayan elders really opens your eyes to how much we have chosen to ignore in the regular Western mindset of the magic that's right in front of us. So this is an invitation to come back to your inner sacred knowledge. Now, literally, I kid you not, the ancient Maya believed that Kukulkan or Quetzalcoatl, the idea of the serpent and the snake, like I told you, is the marrying of the high or the spirit and the earth, the feminine and the masculine, and it represents you rising again into your own power, into your own wisdom, being connected to your spirit while also in your body. That's what this time is about. They say that he is the bringer, comes from the sun. So this golden sunlight comes down, feeds into you. What is this golden sunlight? Unconditional love and sacred knowledge. So that's why the serpent is there, because it brings that life force back into us. And if you do things like I've been doing in a sacred way with these things, and you do, excuse me, other things to balance your light body, excuse me, you're going to be able to receive the energies from the moons, from the suns, from wherever you're going that are helping you to be willing to receive. But do you believe you're worthy? If you don't, then you're not going to receive unconditional love. Do you believe that you are here with a sacred purpose, that you are the creator of your reality? If you don't, then you are going to have struggles with receiving all the energies that's already there, perceiving it, understanding it, or trusting to move forward. Okay, so right now, Eve is asking us to call on our sacred inner tree of knowledge. And I have to run and get something for my throat. And I want you to just look at her, let her come to you. And first, let's go way down with the serpent around the roots of the tree. And the roots of the tree connecting to Gaia, to Mother Earth, to the Divine Mother, and the root within you, and any shame that is there. And we're going to call on that shame inside of this sacred healing chamber with great gratitude to all of these elements, all of these beautiful beings, all this essence, wisdom, and knowledge. And we accept this moment inside of this chamber of light. We accept this moment full of divine light, unconditional love, and sacred knowledge. We accept this moment of reclaiming our sacred feminine wisdom, medicine, and powers. And we accept, I accept, I accept, I accept, I am, I am, I am. It is so, it is done, it is so, it is done. And thank you, thank you, thank you. I am one with sacred knowledge. I am embodied divine unconditional love. That means that shame can come up and out and dissolve in this light. So play with that, receive that for a moment. Okay, so let's go ahead, take a deep breath in and draw in that golden light. Relate to it in any way that you wish. Perhaps it's pouring down from the central sun through you. Perhaps it's a wave. Perhaps it sparkles and fireflies. Perhaps it's welling up from within you. Just receive it. Let yourself be infused with the gold light. And then let it go. But this time, instead of letting it out of you, let the breath go into you. Like you're blowing into a bottle, down into your center. And in that breath, your intention is, I am ready and willing and open and receptive to be here now, a clear and open channel to what is optimal for me in this moment. I give permission to all of me to release and receive in whatever way brings harmony, balance, love. And I'm ready to reclaim my power. I'm ready to reclaim my voice. I'm ready to let go of my shame. I'm ready to walk in sovereignty. I'm ready to understand what that is and how that feels for me. And I'm ready to see, taste, feel, smell, and understand that nothing anyone has ever said about me is true. And I have my own story, and I'm ready to tell my own story, and I'm ready to discover that story and to be enamored with that story and to love that protagonist, that heroine in that story. And I'm ready to say, does it matter? I'm going to take everything I've been through, everything I've experienced, and look for the jewels, look for the gems and the pearls and the beauty and the wisdom inside, because yes, 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 this is the moment. This is the moment. And in that sacred moment, it is being in the eternal now. Enter. So breathe more of this light in, but now, as we enter the sacred space, you are standing here. And within you, you have brought enough light that you have illuminated the tree of life, which is within you, which you've known because you are willing to walk in your body. But have you loved your body? Have you accepted yourself? Have you nourished and celebrated yourself? Have you been interested in yourself? Have you tried to understand or get to know yourself? Have you gone on dates with yourself? Have you asked yourself questions? Have you just loved yourself and not worried about measuring, judging, improving? What if you are perfect just the way you are, but it's all covered up with costumes of evil witches and sorceresses and shameful people, and people stripped bare and naked and forced to go out and be in the cold when they were in bliss before? Who gets to decide that? Where do you feel you were cast out of paradise in your life? Because you have. Because I am Eve, and I am an archetype. What is an archetype? I'm a myth. I'm a story. I am truth. I am beauty. I am illusion. I am pain. I am shame. I am ugliness. I am revered and I am hated. I am forgotten, lost. I am hidden. I'm possessed, coveted. There are those who weep for me, those who curse me. There are those throughout time who still bear a cross for me. Call to me. Let me nurture them. There are those that play with me because I play with the fairies. Yes, you call them fairies. We called them something very different. And here's the thing. Most people don't know that many lives, many lives. When someone lives a life that becomes iconic, or when a embodiment of that archetype becomes so aligned that you are that archetype, perhaps there are 400 Eves out there, because there are millions of versions of Eve, and the one you're hearing versus the one that she's hearing, and the one she's hearing, and the one he's hearing are all different. You have a filter. You have a story about me. You have an idea of what you think happened or didn't happen. You have anger and hate or confusion or boredom or disinterest. But what is it? Because this is the story at the root of the sacred knowledge that is sprouting from this forest fire. This time is the time of the fire. It's coming. We recommend you remember you were a fire priestess. I was. We recommend that you remember that in some form, in some life, you're a priestess of Isis, because you are. Maybe it was the priestess of Athena, or a priestess of Ishel, or a priestess of something. It doesn't matter, because it is the sacred feminine lineage. And we have to look at our stories because they are the stepping stones through time. And now they aren't a shameful past. They are a pattern appearing in the stars. They are a pattern of connecting the dots. This is where we are. Unity. Step 1, finish lesson 4. Embody the sacred feminine and the element of water. Then step into the now and become one sacred feminine, sacred masculine, one tree of life, tree of knowledge. So what happens when the sacred feminine? That's what you are if you're in a woman's body. That's what you are if you relate to that aspect of you, regardless of what your body looks like. You are in it because it has powers, it has wisdom, it has stories, it has lifetime, it has doorways, it has languages it speaks that are optimal for you, so that when you come to a point in your life, that point in your life doesn't bury you. You don't go down the road when somebody says, you're the cause of all sin of humanity. Oh, wow. No thanks. And you start to sift through the library of infinite possibilities of your life story. Does it mean that it stops that particular line of time from saying those things about you? No. But why do you care? It is dead. It is only alive if you are in it. And if you choose not to be in it, then it isn't alive anymore. It has no power over you anymore. You are free. I discovered this. Do you know how long I waited? 1,300 years. I waited 1,300 years suffering the mantle of that story of Eve, and then watching as those went, oh, Lilith is so much better. And then they imposed even weaker and weaker identities upon me. How pathetic you are. How you're just following the man around. You had no voice. You're just this woman who said, fine, own me. How do you know that's true? Did anyone come and ask me? Did anyone talk to me? Did anyone talk to you? Do you feel unheard, unseen? Do you feel like you didn't even get to understand what was happening yourself? Are you currently running down a path of somebody's story about you that has nothing you want? So why are you in it? Embody the darkness. Accept the insults. Take it, because it gives you power. What does Gaia do? Our divine mother, the mother of everything. The beauty of the woman, the feminine that doesn't need anything, the life giver. is also the life taker. It is the spiral. It is the circle. It is the sphere. It is the symbol of the sacred feminine. And we want to come into the place where we are the circle inside of the square and we're perfectly balanced. But we haven't even accessed our spherical conscious. When you have your awareness that, like you are inside of a crystal ball, all around you are the options. What are you doing? What's in your heart? What's sending out? Who are you believing? What story are you living? It was a wonderful story to live, full of a lot of pain, full of a lot of beauty. I got to examine and experience all the depth of being Eve in paradise. And then all of the accusations and all of the blame and all of the hardship and the pain. But I also really didn't live that. That's the story. So there was a long time where it was just bliss. And then this story came and I stepped into the story. And I listened when those loud voices said, "This is a curse. You are a curse. You are a sin. You are shame. You are bad. You are worthless. You have no voice. You have no rights. You are evil. You're the cause from the devil. You are the cause of all problems on the earth." I watched while women were hurt and killed and accused and disemboweled and disempowered, and every version of shutting down, gagging, decapitating, outcasting our power, the lineage of the divine feminine, available to anyone, but you can't hate. You can't be a goddess of war. You can't blame them. You can't carry shame for you, because none of that exists in the realm of divine unconditional love, where sacred knowledge is given freely. There's no chasing. There's no having to prove yourself. It is given. It is there. You just ask, but you must be willing to ask. You must be willing to believe. You must be willing to know. You must be willing to stop living the story that was thrust upon you. Do you know that you do not see people and houses and cars and dogs and plants when you first come into your body? You see vibration, you see color, you hear music, and it feels strange because now the mind is perceiving it. And then the brain is building a structure to decode it, to put a pattern to it, and to say, that is a ship. But you didn't know that was a ship. It was frequencies. And somebody kept saying, ship, 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 ship. And you said, okay, got it. That's a ship. And pretty soon it imprinted on you. And you only think that that's a ship. What if the person who taught you it was a ship, turns out it was a banana, but you were told it's a ship? Now you understand where you are. You were told the ships were bananas, and you were told the bananas were ships. You were told you were unworthy when you are divine, when you're the creator, when you have everything, when you came here with a sacred purpose. And just like me, you've got to step into the pain. You have to embody it all. You can't live in anxiety. You can't live in hesitation. You can't live in procrastination. You have to live in flow. Procrastination is not the same thing as rest. Living in flow is resting, going within, receiving, being nourished, creating, thinking, producing, going out, running, chasing, talking. Okay, it is being in the flow of all of it as it comes and goes up and down. Your Kundalini, this divine serpent, which is your friend. This is my friend. This was never, ever an evil demon. This is a part of me that said, time to take the bite. But the bite of the sacred knowledge can't be given to you from someone outside of you because you're the creator. That's like asking the mirror image to give you something. I'm hungry, make me dinner. And you're just going to sit in front of that mirror for a really long time unless you're a really good magician. Now, if you remember that, go for it, honey, because that's what's happening now. Sacred magic is a return to the sacred feminine, which then turns into the balance, which then creates worlds within worlds, around worlds, upon worlds of light and beauty and harmony, and nothing that is not desirable has to be in there. There is nothing like, well, we have to have a little bit of war to be protected, and we have to have some guns to do this. You don't want any of it. You don't need any of it. You create it, but you have to be it. You have to embody it. So here's the thing. What is in your kundalini? What is in your sacral? So I want you to go follow the roots of that tree. And I want you to see that the serpent of your divine coiled potential, your soul's golden potential, is wound up, coiled. That pure snake is pure earth. It's pure divine feminine. It's pure muscle, right? Coiled is potential. This is your potential. This is your power. This is encoded with your path. Your shame is the doorway to what? To bliss, to love, to beauty. Your anger, your craving, your victimhood is the doorway to your power, to your understanding, to your acceptance, to your compassion. All that you accepted because you thought what had happened, what you did, or what didn't happen meant something, but you're the one that chose what it meant. Step out of the river of pain. No matter how many times someone has given you that coat to wear, take them all off now. Take them off one by one. Discover who you are underneath it. You are light. And all the pain and all the blame. Think about the idea of Eve. If you tune into all the people who have lived on this planet in this timeline, who believed the story of Eve, that the devil was the snake, she ate the apple of knowledge, therefore she caused them to be outcast from paradise. And she carried that shame in her body, in her DNA, and then birthed humanity. So we are all full of that shame and that blame, and we are at the core of us bad. Imagine carrying that as what you have been labeled with. Perhaps you were kicked out of your family for making a mistake with money, or perhaps you had a divorce that split things up and certain people won't speak to you anymore. Perhaps you lost all your money, or perhaps you gained a lot of money and then some people didn't want to speak to you. Whatever it is, it's a story and you decide it. And if they think that having a bankruptcy is horrible and shameful, then you say, yes, you're right. Then you get to live your life in shame. And one day, when you realize you don't want to choose that anymore, call me. Because whatever burden you're carrying, you also have a little bit of the curse. The curse is what was blamed on the sacred feminine and therefore justified the treatment. So we are not interested in discovering all the bad things that were done to women, or how magic was persecuted, knowledge, direct knowledge and wisdom was frowned upon, and so on. What we want to do is say, Wow, look at that. Shed it, walk out of it, and then enter your own temple where your potential and power to rise from your own wisdom and your own knowledge, because all of that is within you and it has had lifetimes to compost what the pain has been. All of it. So whether you feel it or see it, don't worry about it. Whatever way you are experiencing this, let go, relax. If you've drifted off and don't remember, I want you to focus on, perhaps hold your womb at the bottom, at the base of your spine, at the bottom of your inner belly button, is your Janisa crystal. It is your 8 original cells formed from the divine feminine and masculine life force, intention that came together to form you and your body. Within it is also your sacred soul's codes, the purpose that you've had in this life and others, the potential that is possible for you if certain things are changed, shifted, accepted, experienced, accomplished. It holds the library or the akash of everything you've been and every life you have, every lineage that is now calling out to you, and the sacred feminine lineages of remembering your wisdom, whether you were an herbalist or an architect, whether you were a queen or a ruler or a mother, whether you were a cook or an explorer, a priestess, a magician, a seer, an oracle, whether you spoke with animal spirits, whether you were a shaman that traveled dimensions, whether you were a healer or a medicine woman, whether you were a portal, whether you spoke with the stargates and traveled, there's something that you were and are now coming together like two frequencies, like a cell phone call happening. Take it in, because now, without the shame, without the guilt, with realizing these are your powers, eating them, accepting them, surrounding your body with this gold light, drawing all of this down, feed that beautiful coiled potential, sacred golden serpent nested inside of that coiled serpent of divine life force, now coming alive with this infusion, is the Janisa crystal. You. As we give thanks to Eve and begin to come back into our bodies, into the moment, receiving this infusion, this download, this shamanic journey, this beautiful message. And these were words of empowerment. They were coming out like keys and codes, going into your cells, locking into the receptors in different places within you and your body and your nervous system and your blood. All of you received something. And this is the most important part. Just trust it's fabulous. Say, thank you, thank you, thank you. I accept. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. It is done. Come into your body with a little bit of time. Take your notes, what you experience. This is a very profound shamanic journey and healing with our ancient queens. So, if you are able to process this in a way that you can do right now, that's fine. Please share. But allow yourself, the best way to process this, I think, is what I'm saying. I can't see a thing. I always have the intention of making these short. All right. It's so worth it, though. Wow. Okay. So Brittany says a lot of emotions are coming up as I just did a deep dive into some internal healing. I had to pause the video just to finish up the energy I was called to give attention to. How beautiful. Yes. So the crystals are amazing. They're right. Oh, hi, Cheryl. Hi, Grace. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Priestess energy is here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The priestesses are here. Whew. This was super powerful because one of the things about Eve and Mary Magdalene is they're very, very deeply embedded in the consciousness of many cultures that constitute what we call the Western world. And there's, so I want to go beyond archetypical. It's like a miasm. I'm a homeopathic doctor. A miasm is something that's in the earth. It's part of you. It's part of this. It's just part of it. It just is. And miasms become a part of us. Diseases become a part. Everybody has the measles type of thing. You know, it's just a part of everything. That's the premise of different kinds of healing. So what we have is now this download. Really pay attention to gold light, to gold energy, to what you're feeling within you, to the stirring of this. There is something coming. I'm going to be doing a podcast soon with Neil and Portal to Ascension about the Kundalini rising in a completely different way than we've ever imagined, and that this is the time to do it before the fall, so probably in the next month or so, to allow yourself, especially if you've been abused in some way that makes you not accept your body, have a problem with sex, have a problem with intimacy, or, you know, grow a lot of fat over that part of your body like I did for a long time. You know, there's something going on. We don't want to just pretend it's not there and then carry it around. We want to turn our back on it, let it die, but we want to pick it up and compost it. So what we do is accept it and we say thank you. And it can go in and dissolve in the gold light. You can work with the gold light. You can amplify the gold light. You can radiate the gold light. And the whole idea of the gold apple is your invitation to remember that sacred knowledge full of and inside of unconditional love. So the Maya, the ancient elders, basically, if you go deep, 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 deep with lifetimes of study, the bottom line is you must become unconditional love. That's the ticket price. Whatever you want, wherever you're going, the ticket is, can you embody unconditional love? This is what she showed us. And she showed us that because there's this archetype inside of us, whether we even did it or not. Like, my parents were Lutheran, but I barely went to church, and then I just ignored it. Then I said I was atheist. I didn't want anything to do with it. It seemed all like a bunch of hypocrites, and I didn't really care. And then my life fell apart, and I went looking for spirituality. I went looking for weird stuff and started reading about channeling dolphins from another planet, because I just wanted what was different, that was normal out there. And I was highly suspicious of religion, mostly Christianity. But like Tiffany said, I had no interest in the biblical women until Mother Mary came to me, and I don't know how I lived without her now, right? Thank you, Eve. Yes, exactly. I was the same way, like Mother Mary, oh, please. And you see her everywhere, and I perceived her as weak. I perceived her as, oh God, how pathetic. You're just this like, you know, like I wanted to see strong women. We didn't see strong women. Well, I was pointed out to me one day by one of my pagan, Wiccan, beautiful goddess friends, who we would take turns. You guys could do this. We used to call it Goddess Salon, is having a potluck at your house, pick a goddess, and then do something like, you know, do a craft or write a poem or whatever. But while you're eating, everybody's sharing food and you're doing a beautiful circle, you share what you know about that goddess or questions you have about that goddess or that sacred feminine energy, we would call it now, more like wise woman. And she picked Mother Mary. So I called her and said, blah, can't we do someone else? And she goes, oh, why not? And she said, well, I'm a pagan Catholic. And I went, well, those two don't make sense. She goes, well, actually, if you really look at it, they're almost identical. They both have statues, that they both have ceremony and big, and lots of incense and chanting and just, like, it was really funny. She was showing me, I was like, wow, look at that. Okay. So then we did Mother Mary, and I was blown away, like you. I was blown away because she completely reversed from being the weakest concept of a woman to being the strongest embodiment of sacred feminine, because she's one of the few females icons that stood the time that we've just coming out of, the whole patriarchal time we're talking about. You see more of her than Jesus, even in countries like Mexico, where I live, or Spain and all these countries. You see more Marys than you do. So that tells you that she was everywhere in the hearts, right? But it's not her as a person. It's her as that embodiment of, I can embody divine love, mother love, love that, people tell all these stories about, right? Okay. Same thing. She's another one, right, of those. Yes. And then I joined my first mystery school, and we were calling this sacred circle of guides in every day. And we were calling somebody named Lord Sananda. And I did not know who Lord Sananda was. This was a long time ago. This was like 26 years ago, I think. Yeah. And one day I finally said, I didn't want to look stupid, like, who's Lord Sananda? And they're like, oh, that's Jesus, that's his name. Then he's not being Jesus, outside of it, I'm like, oh no. I went, what? But the good trick was I got to experience that being as the pure love that is supposed to be the embodiment of Christ, which has nothing to do with Jesus. We are all the Christ. We are all forgiven. We are all divine light. We have that ability within us. And when we do that, we accept the divine unconditional love, which pours through us like kukulkan from the sun, from within us. Our potential is released, and we start creating the world we want to be. And then life gets good. So don't worry about what everybody else is doing, okay? Go out there and create your own reality. Do it by being loved, doing by accepting yourself, do it by shedding all these things, do it by reclaiming your voice, okay? And here's our little embodiment of Eve for us today. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining me for this beautiful long show. And I will see you tomorrow for the Oracle. When our other version of Eve is going to come through. So it's very fun because we all have, right? I was a different person when I was 5, 10, 8, 30, I'll be a different person when I'm 91, and in different lives. And we've got the whole idea of our inner child. So we're very, very multidimensional, and we're very, very interdimensional. And this is normal. Priestesses of all of any wise women that you know about, I could almost promise you, has been trained. Now, Guinevere was trained by Merlin, but also Vivienne and Morgana. And Morgana and Guinevere were actually have certain parts of their incarnations that walked together, very similar ages. And they both studied with Merlin, but not just with Merlin. He brought the wisdom of the masculine, of the green man, and of earth energies. That was his specialty. It wasn't just masculine, it was earth energies. And he would cross the veil into the goddess world, where the schools were for the priestesses, or are still in Avalon. And he would teach, and he and Vivienne, who was the high priestess, were very, 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 very close friends. And they also represented that perfect match of masculine and feminine, holding magician, witch, wizard, whatever, the two sides of masculine and feminine energies that understand how to work with energies, work with time, work with space through the ray that activates your brain. That's why you're in a body, is to do magic, okay? To create worlds, okay? So lots of love. Bye, everybody. Join us in all our happiness, and have a beautiful day.